The training hall on Helios 9 station was massive. It had to be. Cadets from 40 different species trained here, and some of them were very large. The ceiling stretched high above, and the floor was covered in dark blue mats that could handle almost any impact. Today, like every day, the hall was full of young cadets learning how to fight. Ji-won Park stood in the back row with the other human cadets. She was 22 years old, with dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wore the standard gray uniform that all cadets wore. Nothing about her stood out. She was average height for a human woman, average build, average everything. That was how she liked it. Instructor Vexner walked to the center of the room. He was a Krauth, which meant he was tall and covered in dark scales. His arms were thick with muscle and his hands ended in sharp claws. When he moved, everyone could hear the soft click of those claws on the floor. Most cadets were afraid of him. He had trained warriors for 30 years and he was known for being harsh. Today we discuss defense, Vexner said. His voice was deep and rough. Many of you come from soft worlds. You have never faced real danger. You do not understand what combat truly means. Ji-won kept her face blank. She had heard this speech before. Vexner liked to remind everyone that he came from a warrior culture. He liked to make the cadets feel small and weak. Defense is not about hiding, Vexner continued. It is about taking a hit and staying strong. It is about knowing your body can survive. He looked around the room, his yellow eyes scanning the rows of cadets. But some species are too weak for real combat. Their bodies break too easily. His eyes stopped on Ji-won. She felt her stomach tighten. This was not good. You, Vexner pointed at her. Human cadet, come forward. Ji-won did not want to go, but refusing an instructor was not allowed. She walked to the center of the room, feeling everyone's eyes on her. The other cadets watched quietly. Some looked worried. Others looked curious. What is your name? Vexner asked. Cadet Ji-won Park, sir, she said. Her voice was calm and steady. Cadet Park will help me demonstrate, Vexner announced to the class. Humans are a perfect example of a weak species. They have no natural armor, no claws, no strength. They come from a world with low gravity and weak predators. Ji-won said nothing. Most of what he said was wrong, but correcting an instructor was not wise. She just stood there and waited. The human body cannot take much damage, Vexner said. He circled around her slowly. A single strike from a real warrior would break them. This is why humans should not be in combat roles. They are too fragile. Some of the alien cadets nodded. They believed him. Why would they not? Vexner was famous. He had fought in real wars. In the back row, Minho Choi and Yoonji Kim exchanged worried glances. They were human cadets too. They knew Ji-won well, and they knew this situation was about to go bad. Now I will show you what happens when a weak species faces a warrior, Vexner said. He stopped in front of Ji-won. Cadet Park, stand still. Ji-won's muscles tensed. She knew what was coming. She could see it in his eyes, in the way he shifted his weight. This was not going to be a gentle demonstration. When facing an enemy, you must be ready to take damage, Vexner said. You must learn to. He struck her. Fast and hard. The back of his clawed hand slammed across her face. The sound echoed through the hall like a crack of thunder. Ji-won's head snapped to the side. Blood appeared at the corner of her mouth. The class gasped. Several cadets jumped to their feet. This was not a normal training exercise. Instructors were not supposed to hit cadets like that. Not without warning. Not without protective gear. Vexner opened his mouth to continue his lecture. He never got the chance. Ji-won moved. It happened so fast that most of the cadets missed it. 1 second she was standing there touching her bleeding lip. The next second Vexner was on the ground. His large body hit the mat with a heavy thud that shook the floor. He did not move. The training hall went completely silent. Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. They all stared at the scene in front of them. The massive Krauth instructor was sprawled flat on his back, unconscious. Standing over him was the small human cadet, rubbing her jaw with one hand. Ji-won looked down at Vexner. Then she looked up at the class. Her expression was not angry. She just looked annoyed, like someone who had dealt with a minor inconvenience. He hit first, she said simply. For another moment, nobody moved. Then everything happened at once. Cadets started shouting. Some ran forward. Others ran back. An alarm started blaring somewhere in the station. The doors burst open and 2 medical officers rushed in with a floating stretcher. Minho pushed through the crowd to reach Ji-won. Are you okay? He asked. I'm fine, Ji-won said. She spat blood onto the mat. My mouth is cut. That's all. Yunji arrived a second later. What did you do to him? I hit him back, Jiwon said. She watched as the medical officers examined Vexnor. One of them was using a scanner, moving it over the instructor's body. The officer's face went pale. We need emergency transport, the medical officer said into his communicator. Multiple fractures, severe concussion, possible internal bleeding. The second medical officer looked at Jiwon with wide eyes. You did this? Jiwon did not answer. She did not need to. Everyone had seen it happen, even if they did not understand how. The medical team loaded Vexnor onto the stretcher. It floated out of the room, moving quickly toward the medical bay. The instructor still had not woken up. An announcement came over the station speakers. Cadet Jiwon Park, report to the commandant's office immediately. All other cadets return to your quarters. The crowd of cadets slowly filed out of the training hall. They whispered to each other in dozens of different languages. The humans stayed together in a small group. What are they going to do to you? Dahyun Lee asked. He was another human cadet, tall and broad-shouldered. I don't know, Jiwon said honestly, but I defended myself. That's allowed, is it? Eunji asked quietly. You put an instructor in the hospital. He hit me first, Jiwon repeated. Everyone saw it, Minho nodded. The cameras saw it too. They record everything in the training halls. The truth is on your side. Jiwon hoped he was right. But she had been in the galaxy long enough to know that truth did not always matter. What mattered was how people saw things. And right now they saw a human cadet who had knocked out a famous warrior instructor with one hit. She touched her lip again. The bleeding had stopped, but it was swelling. She could already feel the bruise forming along her jaw. Tomorrow it would be purple and ugly. I should go, she said. The commandant is waiting. Her friends wanted to come with her, but she shook her head. This was something she had to face alone. She walked out of the training hall and into the bright corridor beyond. Other cadets pressed against the walls as she passed, staring at her like she was some kind of dangerous animal. Maybe she was. Maybe all humans were. The galaxy seemed to forget that Earth was not a gentle place. It forgot that humans learned to fight before they learned to walk. Every human child knew how to fall, how to take a hit, how to get back up. Vexnor had learned that lesson today. He had thought humans were weak because they looked soft. He had thought wrong. Now he was in the medical bay with broken ribs and a shattered jaw, learning what every human already knew. Some lessons hurt. Jiwon reached the commandant's office and pressed the door chime. A voice told her to enter. She stepped inside, back straight, face calm. Whatever happened next, she would face it the way she had been taught. Head up, eyes forward, ready for anything. Commandant Threlvac sat behind his desk, his 6 arms folded across his chest. He was a Vortian, which meant he looked a bit like a tall gray octopus wearing a uniform. His face had no mouth that humans could see, but he could speak through small openings in his throat. Right now his voice sounded very tired. Sit down, Cadet Park, he said. Jiwon sat in the chair across from him. She kept her back straight and her hands on her knees. The commandant's office was large and clean, with windows that showed the stars outside. Usually she would find it beautiful. Today she barely noticed. Do you understand the seriousness of what happened today? Threlvax asked. Yes, sir, Jiwon said. An instructor is in the medical bay. He has 3 broken ribs. His jaw is dislocated. He has a severe concussion. The medical team says he will need weeks to recover. The commandant's voice was calm, but Jiwon could hear the concern underneath. You did this. Yes, sir, Jiwon said again. He hit me first. I am aware, Threlvac said. He touched a panel on his desk and a holographic screen appeared in the air between them. I have watched the recording 17 times. Every instructor on this station has watched it. The Council of Instructors has watched it, and none of us can quite believe what we saw. He pressed another button. The screen showed the training hall from above. Jiwon watched herself standing in the center of the room. She watched Vexnor circle her. She watched him strike her. Then she watched herself move. Even knowing what was coming, it was hard to follow. Her body blurred. Her hand came up, deflected Vexnor's arm. She turned her hips. Her palm struck his chest. Her foot swept his legs. He fell. All of it happened in less than half a second. Can you explain this to me? Threlvax asked. Your training scores are average. Your physical tests are average. Nothing in your record suggests you have this level of skill. Jiwan thought about how to answer. I learned to fight when I was young, sir. Everyone in my city did. It was normal. Normal, Threlvax repeated. He did not sound like he believed her. Cadet Park, what you did was not normal. You moved faster than most species can even see. You executed a perfect counterattack with enough force to break bones. That is not something an average cadet can do. I'm human, sir, Jiwan said quietly. We're tougher than we look. The commandant was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, Wait here. He stood and left the office through a side door. Jiwan sat alone, looking at the frozen image on the screen. She could see the moment of impact, her palm against Vexnor's chest. She had not meant to hurt him that badly. She had just reacted. When someone hit you, you hit back harder. That was the rule. That was how you survived. The door opened. Threlvax returned, but he was not alone. A tall human man in an officer's uniform followed him. Jiwan recognized him immediately and stood up. At ease, Cadet, Admiral Hunsiknam said. He was the human liaison officer, the one who represented Earth's interests at the Academy. He was in his 50s with gray hair and a calm face that rarely showed emotion. Admiral, Jiwan said. Sir, sit down, he said. They all sat. The Admiral looked at the holographic screen, watching the recording play again. He watched it 3 times without speaking. Then he turned to Jiwan. Did he give you any warning before he struck you? No, sir. Did he tell you to defend yourself? No, sir. Did you intend to cause serious injury? Jiwan hesitated. I intended to make him stop, sir. I didn't think about how hurt he would be. I just reacted. Admiral Nam nodded slowly. He looked at the commandant. Have you pulled her full records? Yes, Threlvax said. There is very little of note. She scored well on basic fitness tests. Her combat scores are middle range. Her psychological profile shows no aggression or violence. She is by all measures an unremarkable cadet. Except for one thing, the Admiral said. He pulled up another screen. Her entry physical noted bone density 15% above human average. Reaction time in the 95th percentile. The examining doctor recommended she be placed in the advanced combat track. That recommendation was never followed, Threlvax said. No, the Admiral agreed. Because her test scores were average, the recommendation was ignored. Nobody thought to question why a cadet with superior physical traits was scoring average on combat tests. Jiwan felt her face get warm. She knew why. She had kept her scores average on purpose. Back home, standing out was dangerous. If you were too good at fighting, people challenged you. They wanted to prove they were better. So she had learned to hold back, to blend in, to be just good enough but never exceptional. Cadet Park, the Admiral said. Were you holding back during your combat evaluations? She wanted to lie, but lying to an admiral was a bad idea. Yes, sir, she admitted. Why? Because where I come from, being the best fighter makes you a target. People want to test themselves against you. It's safer to be average. The Admiral leaned back in his chair. You understand that the Academy needs accurate assessments of your abilities. If you hide your skills, you cannot be properly trained. I understand now, sir, Jiwan said. I won't hide anymore. Threlvax made a sound that might have been a sigh. This still does not explain what I saw on that recording. Even if Cadet Park has above-average physical traits, she executed a combat sequence that requires years of advanced training. Where did she learn this? At home, Jiwan said. I started Taekwondo when I was 6. I added Hapkido when I was 10. I trained every day until I left Earth. Taekwondo? Threlvax struggled with the word. What is that? Martial arts, the Admiral explained. Earth has hundreds of combat systems. Most children learn at least one. It's part of our culture. The Commandant's skin changed color slightly, which meant he was confused or upset. You teach combat to children? Why? Jiwan answered before the Admiral could. Because the world is dangerous, sir. Because we need to know how to protect ourselves. Because it teaches discipline and respect and how to control your body. And how to break ribs, Threlvax added dryly. That too, Jiwan admitted. The Admiral stood up. Commandant, with your permission, I would like to request a full review of the incident. Instructor Vexnor struck Cadet Park without warning or protective equipment. Under galactic law and Academy regulations, she had the right to defend herself. She did more than defend herself, Threlvax said. She hospitalized him. She stopped the threat, the Admiral corrected. She used the minimum force necessary to ensure he could not hit her again. If she had wanted to kill him, she could have. She showed remarkable restraint. Ji-won blinked. She had not thought of it that way. But the Admiral was right. She could have hit Vexnor in the throat or the temple. She could have broken his neck. Instead, she had gone for his chest and legs, places where the damage would be painful but not fatal. Threlvax was quiet for a long time. His arms moved in a pattern that meant he was thinking hard. Finally, he said, "Very well. I will convene a formal inquiry. Until it is complete, Cadet Park will be suspended from training. She will remain in her quarters unless summoned." "Understood," Ji-won said. "Dismissed," the Commandant said. Ji-won stood and saluted. She left the office with the Admiral following behind her. In the corridor, he put a hand on her shoulder. "You did nothing wrong," he said quietly. "Remember that. You defended yourself. That is your right." "What will happen to Instructor Vexnor?" Ji-won asked. The Admiral's face hardened. "That depends on the inquiry. But between you and me, any instructor who strikes a cadet without cause should not be teaching. He is lucky you showed restraint. Another human might have killed him." Ji-won thought about that as she walked back to her quarters. She thought about Minho, who had a temper. She thought about Dae-hyun, who was protective of his friends. She thought about what would have happened if Vexnor had chosen one of them instead of her. The Admiral was right. Vexnor was very lucky indeed. Back in the Commandant's office, Threlvax watched the recording again. He slowed it down, frame by frame, studying every movement. The deflection, the hip rotation, the palm strike, the sweep, the controlled fall. It was perfect. Too perfect. And if one human cadet could do this, what could all of them do? What had the galaxy missed about humanity? He opened a communication channel to the Galactic Council. They needed to know about this. All of them. Because if humans had been hiding this level of capability, everything the galaxy thought it knew about Earth was wrong. Everything was about to change. The inquiry room was full. Ji-won had never seen so many important people in one place. The Galactic Council had sent 3 representatives. The Academy Board had sent 5 more. Instructors lined the walls. Admiral Nam sat near the front. And in the center of it all, a holographic projector showed the incident over and over again. Ji-won sat in the witness chair, trying to stay calm. She had been here for 2 hours already. They had asked her the same questions many different ways. Where did she learn to fight? How long had she trained? Had she ever hurt anyone before? Did she mean to hurt Vexnor so badly? She answered every question honestly. Yes, she trained since childhood. No, she had never hurt anyone seriously before. No, she did not mean to cause such damage, she just reacted. Counselor Velmoth was speaking now. He was a Zentari, thin and tall with pale blue skin. He was supposed to be an expert on alien species. "What I do not understand," he said slowly, "is how a species as physically unremarkable as humans can produce such a response. Cadet Park's strike generated enough force to break Kralth bone. Kralth bones are 3 times as dense as human bones. This should not be possible." Admiral Nam stood up. "If I may address the council?" Velmoth nodded. "Please, Admiral, help us understand." The Admiral walked to the center of the room. He touched the holographic controls and the image changed. Now it showed not the training hall but Earth itself rotating slowly in space. "What do you see when you look at this planet?" the Admiral asked. "A Class M world," one counselor said, "suitable for carbon-based life. High oxygen content, abundant water, standard gravity," another added. "Mild climate variations. No extreme conditions." "Exactly," the Admiral said. "You see a normal world. A safe world. But you are missing something very important." He changed the image again. Now it showed various Earth animals. Lions, bears, sharks, crocodiles, snakes. Every single one of these creatures can kill a human. We have no armor, no claws, no venom, no natural weapons at all. Yet we survived. Do you know how? The room was quiet. "We survived because we learned to fight back," the Admiral continued. "We learned to use tools. We learned to work together. And most importantly, we learned to endure pain and keep moving. A human can break an arm and keep running. We can lose blood and keep fighting. We can take damage that would kill most species and still survive." He changed the image again. This time it showed human children. They were in a training hall wearing white uniforms practicing kicks and punches. "This is Taekwondo," the Admiral explained. "It is one of hundreds of martial arts that humans practice. We teach it to children, not because we want them to hurt people, but because we want them to know how to protect themselves, how to fall without breaking, how to take a hit and stay standing, how to control their fear and their anger. You train children in combat? Velmoth looked shocked. But they are so small, so vulnerable. They are vulnerable, the Admiral agreed. That is exactly why we train them. On Earth, danger is everywhere: animals, natural disasters, other humans. We cannot avoid all of it, so we prepare for it instead. He showed more images now. Boxing matches, martial arts tournaments, wrestling competitions. In every image, humans were hitting each other, throwing each other, fighting with intensity and skill. Look closely, the Admiral said. In every one of these events, someone loses. Someone gets hit hard enough to fall down, and then watch what happens next. The images played. In each one, the fallen human got back up. Sometimes they won. Sometimes they lost, but they always got back up. This is what you do not understand about humanity, the Admiral said quietly. We do not fight because we are strong. We fight because we are stubborn. Because we refuse to quit. Because our world taught us that survival means never ever giving up. Counselor Threnala spoke next. She was a Vortian like the Commandant, and her voice was sharp. Are you saying that all humans are capable of what Cadet Park did? Not all, the Admiral admitted. Some humans do not train. Some are injured or sick or simply not interested in combat. But many of us can do what she did. Most of us, in fact, if we have proper training. The room erupted in noise. Counselors talked over each other. Instructors shouted questions. Someone demanded to know why humanity had hidden this capability. Someone else called humans dangerous and deceptive. Admiral Nam waited for the noise to die down. When it did, he said calmly, "We did not hide anything. You never asked. You looked at our bodies and decided we were weak. You looked at our lack of natural weapons and decided we were prey animals. You made assumptions without ever testing them. We tested your cadets," one instructor argued. "They scored average on all combat assessments." "Because they held back," the Admiral said. He looked at Jiwan. "How many of you held back during training?" Jiwan raised her hand. So did every other human in the room. There were 12 of them standing along the back wall. 12 hands in the air. Why? Velmoth asked. Why hide your abilities? Minyo Choi stepped forward. He was shorter than the Admiral, but built like a fighter. Because back home, if you show your full strength, people challenge you. They want to prove they are better. They want to fight. It is easier to stay quiet and blend in. Yoonji Kim nodded. We were taught to use our skills only when necessary. Not to show off. Not to intimidate. Only to protect ourselves or others. Daehyun Lee added. We did not think it mattered here. The training was not difficult for us. We passed everything easily without trying hard. We thought that was enough. The Admiral turned back to the Council. You wanted safe cadets who would follow orders and not cause problems. That is what humanity gave you. We sent students who were smart, disciplined, and capable. We did not send warriors because you did not ask for warriors. But make no mistake, every human you see here can fight. Every one of them has trained since childhood. Every one of them can do what Cadet Park did. Velmoth looked at the humans with new eyes. This is concerning. You are saying humanity is a warrior species pretending to be peaceful? No, the Admiral said firmly. We are a peaceful species that knows how to fight. There is a difference. We do not seek combat. We avoid it when possible. But when we must fight, we know how. That is not a threat. That is survival. Commandant Threlvax spoke up. What about Instructor Vexnor? He struck Cadet Park without warning. Was her response appropriate? The Admiral pulled up the recording one more time. Watch it again. Frame by frame. He slowed the playback. Vexnor strikes. G1 deflects. She counters with a palm strike to the chest. Painful but not lethal. She sweeps his legs. She controls his fall so his head does not hit the ground hard enough to kill him. Every single move was designed to stop the threat with minimum permanent damage. He paused the image. If she wanted to kill him, she would have struck his throat or his temple. If she wanted to maim him, she would have attacked his joints or his spine. She did neither. She stopped him safely and efficiently. That is not aggression. That is perfect control. The room went quiet again. Jiwon watched as the counselors looked at each other, having silent conversations with their eyes and their body language. Finally, Threnala said, this inquiry is supposed to determine if Cadet Park acted appropriately. Based on the evidence, I believe she did. Instructor Vexnor initiated unprovoked violence against a cadet. She defended herself within the bounds of galactic law. I vote to clear her of any wrongdoing. Agreed, Velmuth said. The fault lies with the instructor, not the cadet. One by one, the counselors voted. Every vote was in Jiwon's favor. The Academy Board voted next. Again, every vote cleared her. She was officially found innocent. But Threlvax looked troubled. This does not solve our larger problem. If humans have this level of capability, we need to reassess their training. We need to understand what they can truly do. We need protocols to ensure this does not happen again. I agree, Admiral Nam said. But there is something else you need to understand. Humanity does not just know how to fight. We know how to teach. We have developed combat systems over thousands of years, systems that work for different body types, different situations, different goals. If you want to improve your Academy's combat training, humanity can help. Velmuth leaned forward. You would share your combat knowledge? Of course, the Admiral said. That is what allies do. We share, we teach, we help each other survive. Jiwon felt something loosen in her chest. This was it. This was the moment when everything would change. The galaxy had been afraid of humanity's strength. Now they were being offered a chance to learn from it instead. Threlvax stood up. This inquiry is concluded. Cadet Park is cleared of all charges. Instructor Vexnor will face disciplinary review for striking a cadet without authorization. And this council will meet again to discuss restructuring our combat training program. He looked at the humans. With humanity's assistance, Jiwon stood and saluted. The other humans did the same. As they filed out of the inquiry room, Minho walked beside her. That went better than expected, he said quietly. Did it? Jiwon touched her jaw. The bruise was still there, dark purple and yellow. I still got hit. But you hit back, Yunji said with a small smile. And now the whole galaxy knows that humans are not as soft as they look. Daehyun laughed. I wonder how Vexnor feels about that. Probably hurts to laugh, Minho said. With those broken ribs. The news spread through Helios 9 station faster than anyone expected. Within a day, every cadet knew what had happened in the inquiry. Within 2 days, the story had reached other Academy stations across the galaxy. Within 3 days, humanity was the subject of debates, arguments, and heated discussions in every corner of known space. Jiwon returned to training, but everything felt different now. When she walked through the corridors, other cadets stared. Some moved out of her way, others whispered to their friends. A few brave ones tried to talk to her, asking questions about Earth and fighting and how she had learned to move so fast. She tried to be polite. But it was exhausting. In the training hall, things were worse. The Academy had assigned a new combat instructor, a cautious Pelthian named Instructor Kove, who treated all the cadets like they were made of glass. He refused to demonstrate any contact techniques. Every drill was slow and careful. It was boring and useless. Some cadets appreciated the easy training. Others grew frustrated. The warrior species cadets were the most upset. They had come to the Academy to learn real combat, not gentle exercises that a child could do. One of them was Tavik, a young Kronar with gray skin and sharp teeth. The Kronar were known as fierce fighters, proud of their strength. Tavik had watched Jiwon's recording a dozen times. He could not understand how a weak human, had defeated a Kralth warrior so easily. After training one day, he approached her. Cadet Park, he said. His voice was rough, like rocks grinding together. I want to challenge you. Jiwon looked up from tying her boots. Challenge me to what? A sparring match, Tavik said. I want to see if you are truly as skilled as they say. I want to test myself against you. Around them, other cadets stopped what they were doing. They watched and waited. This was exactly what Jiwon had tried to avoid. This was why she had kept her abilities hidden. I do not want to fight you, Jiwon said calmly. We are supposed to be training together, not fighting each other. Are you afraid? Tavik asked. His teeth showed in what might have been a smile. The human who defeated Vexnor is afraid of a simple sparring match? Minho appeared at Jiwon's side. Leave her alone, Tavik, she said no. I was not talking to you, Tavik said. He looked at Minho with interest. But if she will not fight, perhaps you will? Minho did not hesitate. Fine, let's go. Minho, no, Jiwon said. But it was too late. Minho was already walking to the center of the training mat. Tavik followed, and suddenly there was a crowd forming around them. Instructor Kove noticed and came hurrying over. What is happening here? There are no unsupervised sparring matches allowed. Then supervise, Minho said. He looked at Tavik. Ready? The match started before Cove could stop it. Tavik moved first, fast and aggressive. He was strong, Jiwon could see that. But Minho was faster. He ducked under Tavik's first punch, stepped to the side, and struck back with a quick jab to the ribs. Tavik grunted and swung again. Minho blocked and countered. They moved across the mat, trading blows. The other cadets cheered. Some supported Tavik, others cheered for Minho. It lasted about 30 seconds. Then Minho found an opening and took it. A precise kick to Tavik's knee. Not hard enough to break anything, but hard enough to drop him to the ground. Minho stepped back immediately, hands up, showing he was done. Tavik stayed on the ground for a moment, breathing hard. Then he started to laugh. Good, he said. Very good. You are strong, human. He stood up, limping slightly, and offered his hand. Minho shook it. Just like that, the tension broke. The crowd dispersed, talking excitedly about what they had seen, but Instructor Cove looked worried. This is not acceptable. Fighting between cadets is forbidden. It was just sparring, Minho said. Nobody got hurt. Well, not badly. Cove shook his head. I must report this. The Commandant will want to know. That night, Jiwon and the other humans gathered in their common room. It was a small space with a few chairs and a table, but it was theirs. They could talk freely here without other species listening in. This is getting out of control, Yoonji said. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, looking tired. Every day, someone wants to challenge one of us. They want to test themselves. They want to prove they are better. Or they want to prove we are not as tough as everyone says, Daehyun added. He was cleaning a cut on his knuckles. He had gotten into a scuffle earlier with 3 Zenthari cadets who had cornered him in a corridor. I did not start it. I just finished it. That is the problem, Jiwon said quietly. We always finish it. Every time someone challenges us, we win, and that makes more people want to challenge us. Minho poured himself water and sat down heavily. What are we supposed to do? Let them beat us up? Lose on purpose? Maybe, Jiwon said. Everyone stared at her. You cannot be serious, Yoonji said. You want us to just take hits and not fight back? No, Jiwon said. I want us to avoid fighting in the first place. Walk away, refuse challenges. Make it clear we are here to learn, not to prove how tough we are. They think we are cowards if we walk away, Daehyun argued. Let them think that, Jiwon said. Better they think we are cowards than dangerous. But it was not that simple. The galaxy had learned about humanity's fighting ability, and now they could not forget it. Some species saw humans as valuable allies, strong and reliable. Other species saw humans as threats, dangerous and unpredictable. The Academy tried to address the situation. Commandant Threlvax called a meeting of all instructors and senior staff. Admiral Nam was there too. They discussed options. Separate training for humans? No, that would create more division. Stricter rules about challenges? Yes, but they needed enforcement. Better education about human culture? Definitely. But before any of those plans could be implemented, something worse happened. Yoonji was walking back to her quarters after a late study session. The corridors were empty and quiet. She did not notice the 3 Zenthari cadets following her until they had her surrounded in a dead-end hallway. Little human, one of them said. His name was Velk, and he was tall with smooth green skin. You have been avoiding us. Yoonji kept her face calm. I have been studying. Excuse me, please. She tried to walk past, but Velk blocked her path. We hear that humans are fighters, strong and fast, but you do not look strong. You look small and weak. I am not looking for trouble, Yoonji said. Her heart was beating faster now. 3 against 1 was not good odds, even for a human, especially in a narrow hallway where she could not move freely. We are not trouble, another Zenthari said. We just want to see if the stories are true. He reached out to grab her arm. That was a mistake, Unji moved. She twisted away from his grip, struck his wrist with her palm, and kneed him in the stomach. He fell back, gasping. The other 2 rushed at her. She could not avoid them both in the narrow space. One grabbed her from behind. She threw her head back, smashing into his face. He released her with a cry of pain, but the third one, Velk, caught her arm and twisted it hard. Yoonji felt pain shoot up her shoulder. She was about to strike back when she heard running footsteps. Let her go. Daehyun's voice echoed through the hallway. He came around the corner at full speed, saw the situation, and did not slow down. He hit Velk like a charging bull, driving him away from Yoonji and slamming him into the wall. Then it was chaos. Yoonji fought one Zenthari. Daehyun fought the other two. Fists flew. Bodies crashed against walls. Someone was shouting for security. When the security team arrived, all 5 cadets were on the ground. 2 Zenthari were unconscious. One was clutching a broken arm. Yoonji had a black eye and a split lip. Daehyun had blood running down his face from a cut above his eyebrow. They were all taken to the commandant's office. Medical teams treated their injuries while Threlvax reviewed the security footage. His face changed colors rapidly as he watched, cycling through emotions that humans could not fully read. "This is unacceptable," he finally said. "All of you are suspended pending investigation." "They attacked Yoonji," Daehyun said. "We defended ourselves." "I know," Threlvax said. "The footage is clear. You will not be punished, but the Zenthari cadets will face serious consequences." He looked at Yoonji and Daehyun. "You sent 3 attackers to the medical bay. One has a concussion. One has a broken arm. One has cracked ribs. Do you understand how this looks?" "It looks like humans can defend themselves," Admiral Nam said quietly. He had been standing in the corner, watching everything. "That is not a crime. It looks like humans are dangerous," Threlvax corrected. "Some counselors are calling for humans to be removed from the academy entirely. They say you are too violent, too strong, too unpredictable." "That is not fair," Yoonji said. Her voice was shaking. "We did not start this. We never start it. We just want to learn and train like everyone else." Threlvax sighed. "I know, but fair or not, we have a problem. The academy cannot function if cadets are constantly fighting. Something must change." Admiral Nam stepped forward. "Then let me make a proposal. Instead of trying to suppress human capabilities, embrace them. Use them. Let humans help train the other cadets in real combat. Not the gentle exercises Instructor Cove teaches. Real self-defense. Real techniques. If everyone learns how to fight properly, maybe they will stop challenging humans to prove themselves." Threlvax considered this. "You want humans to become combat instructors?" "Assistant instructors," the Admiral said. "Working under supervise?" 3 months passed. Helios 9 station looked the same from the outside, but inside everything had changed. Instructor Vexnor was gone. The academy had dismissed him after the inquiry found him guilty of unprovoked assault on a cadet. Nobody knew where he went. Nobody asked. Some instructors said he returned to his homeworld in shame. Others said he was training mercenaries on a border station. Jiwon did not care. He was gone, and that was enough. The training halls had changed too. The gentle, careful exercises were gone. In their place was real combat training, designed by humans and adapted for multiple species. Every cadet learned basic self-defense now. They learned how to fall without injury, how to block strikes, how to escape holds, how to protect themselves and others, and teaching them were human cadets, wearing new uniforms that marked them as assistant instructors. Jiwon stood at the front of Training Hall 3, looking at the rows of cadets before her. They were young, nervous, and watching her with a mix of respect and fear. She understood that fear. She had seen it in mirrors after particularly hard training sessions back home. "Good morning," she said. Her voice was calm and clear. "My name is Assistant Instructor Jiwon Park. For the next 8 weeks, I will be teaching you basic self-defense techniques. These techniques work for all body types and all species. They are simple, effective, and most importantly, they teach you how to protect yourself without causing unnecessary harm." A small Pelthian cadet raised her hand. "Instructor Park, is it true you defeated Instructor Vexnor in 1 hit?" Jiwon had been expecting this question. She always got it. "Yes, it is true. But that is not what I am here to teach you. I am not here to show you how to hurt people. I am here to show you how to defend yourselves. There is a difference." She gestured to Minho, who stood beside her. He was an assistant instructor now, too. "Cadet Minho, please help me demonstrate." Minho walked to the center of the mat. They had practiced this demonstration many times. It was important to get it right. "Defense is not about being the strongest or the fastest," Jiwon said. "It is about being prepared. It is about understanding angles, leverage, and timing. Watch carefully." Minho moved as if to grab her shoulder. Jiwon showed the class how to step aside, how to redirect his hand, how to create distance. She did it slowly so everyone could see. Then she did it at normal speed. Then she let Minho actually try to grab her, and she defended herself in real time. The cadets watched with wide eyes. Some took notes. Others tried to copy the movements in the air. "Now you try," Jiwon said. "Pair up with someone near you." Take turns being the attacker and the defender. Remember and control your strength. We are learning, not fighting. The cadets paired up. Ji-won and Minho walked between them, correcting stances, adjusting angles, offering encouragement. It was strange being a teacher instead of a student, but it felt right. This was how knowledge was supposed to work. You learned and then you taught others. You shared what you knew so everyone could be safer, stronger, better. In the corner of the training hall, Admiral Nam watched with Commandant Threlvax. They had been observing the new training program for weeks, taking notes and gathering data. The violence has decreased, Threlvax admitted. Since we started this program, incidents between cadets have dropped by 60%. Because they understand each other better now, Admiral Nam said. When you learn to fight alongside someone, you stop seeing them as an enemy. You start seeing them as a training partner. The warrior species cadets are the most improved, Threlvax continued. They respect the human instructors. They listen. They learn. Before they saw humans as weak. Now they see humans as teachers. And the challenges? Admiral Nam asked. Still happen occasionally, Threlvax said. But less often. And when they do, the challenged human usually manages to defuse the situation without violence. Your people have learned diplomacy along with combat. We learned a long time ago that the best fight is the one you avoid, Admiral Nam said. But it is good to know how to fight just in case. Across the station, similar scenes played out in other training halls. Yoonji taught a class on falling and rolling safely. Daehyun taught techniques for larger opponents. Other human assistant instructors taught their own specialties. The program was working, but not everyone was happy about it. Tavik, the young Kronar who had challenged Minho weeks ago, approached Ji-won after class one day. He had been her student for 6 weeks now, and he had learned quickly. Instructor Park, he said, I want to ask you something. What is it, Tavik? Why do humans learn to fight if you do not want to be warriors? He asked. My people fight because it is our honor, our tradition. But you fight for survival. That seemed sad. Ji-won thought about how to answer. It is not sad, she said finally. It is practical. My world is dangerous. Animals, weather, other humans, there are many threats. We learned to fight so we could live long enough to do the things we actually enjoy. Fighting is not our purpose. It is just a tool we carry, like a knife or a flashlight. We hope we never need it, but we are glad to have it when danger comes. Tavik nodded slowly. On my world, we see fighting as art, as beauty. Something to celebrate. We have that too, Ji-won said. Martial arts competitions, tournaments, demonstrations. Many humans love combat sports. But even then, there are rules. There is respect. Nobody wants to cause permanent harm. We fight to test ourselves, to improve, to learn, not to destroy. I think I understand, Tavik said. Humans are warriors who choose peace. That is interesting. We are people who know how to fight but would rather not, Ji-won corrected gently. There is a difference. That night, Ji-won had her first formal evaluation as an assistant instructor. She sat in Commandant Threlvax's office, nervous despite having done nothing wrong. Your students speak highly of you, Threlvax said, reading from a data pad. They say you are patient, clear, and fair. Your combat techniques are effective across multiple species types. Your class has had 0 injuries despite teaching dangerous techniques. Thank you, sir, Ji-won said. But I want to ask you something personal, Threlvax continued. When Vexner struck you, when you reacted and hurt him, did you regret it? Ji-won considered the question carefully. I regret that it happened at all. I regret that he chose to hit me. I regret that he was hurt so badly. But do I regret defending myself? No, sir, I do not. Good, Threlvax said. Because that is the lesson every cadet here needs to learn. It is okay to defend yourself. It is okay to be strong. What matters is how you use that strength. Vexnor used his strength to intimidate and harm. You used yours to protect yourself and now to teach others. That is the difference between a bully and a leader. Ji-won felt something warm in her chest. Thank you, sir. The Galactic Council has been watching your program, Threlvax said. They are impressed. They want to expand it to other academy stations. That means we need more human instructors. How would you feel about training other humans to teach? I would be honored, Ji-won said. But I am still learning myself. I am only 22. You are old enough to know what you are doing, Threlvax said, and young enough to relate to the cadets you teach. That makes you perfect for this role. Ji-won left the office feeling lighter than she had in months. She found Minho, Yoonji, and Daehyun in the common room, celebrating Daehyun's birthday with terrible station-made cake. How did it go? Yoonji asked. Good, Jiwon said. They want to expand the program. They want us to train more humans to become instructors. Does that mean we are stuck teaching instead of learning? Minho asked. It means we are doing both, Jiwon said. She sat down and took a piece of cake. It was as bad as it looked, but she ate it anyway. We teach others what we know. They teach us what they know. Everyone learns together. I can live with that, Daehyun said. The weeks turned into months. The program grew. More human cadets became assistant instructors. More alien cadets learned real self-defense. The academy's reputation changed. It was no longer just a place where elite cadets trained. It was a place where everyone learned how to protect themselves and others. Jiwon stood in front of her 10th class of the semester. These cadets were fresh, just arrived on the station, nervous and excited. She saw herself in them, young, uncertain, trying to find their place in a vast galaxy. Welcome to basic self-defense, she said. My name is Assistant Instructor Jiwon Park. Over the next 8 weeks, I am going to teach you how to defend yourselves. Not how to start fights, not how to hurt people, but how to protect yourselves when you need to and how to walk away when you can. A human cadet in the back raised his hand. Is it true you knocked out Instructor Vexnor in one hit? Jiwon smiled. She always got this question. Yes, it is true. But that is not what this class is about. This class is about learning when to fight and when to walk away. It is about being strong enough to choose peace even when you could choose violence. She paused, looking at each cadet. Fighting is easy. Anyone can throw a punch, but knowing when not to throw that punch, that takes wisdom. That takes control. That takes real strength. That is what I am going to teach you. The class settled in, ready to learn. Outside the windows, stars stretched endlessly in all directions. The galaxy was huge and full of dangers, but it was also full of people trying to learn, to grow, to understand.